filmmaker, and she has time to assist people finding their dream homes as a real estate agent in South Florida. And if that was not enough, she's also a flight attendant at American Airlines. So if you're the kind of person that says, I'm always running out of time, I can't find enough time to complete my tasks or follow my dreams, and you want some advice to get around these obstacles and adversities, then Danielle Forbes is your person. We're going to find out all about her filmmaking, her realting, and everything in between. So Danielle, glad to be speaking with you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be speaking with you. First of all, let me thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks for finding me. Um, and I just want to apologize in advance. Normally, I'm all dolled up, but sometimes, when you have all those things going on that you just named, it's kind of hard to find the time. So here I am, raw and uncut. This is the raw and uncut, glasses and all.
It's the real you. Yes, so you have to show up as you are. And so as far as introducing you and what you're all about, do we leave anything out? Like what are you? What makes you tick? And what's the kind of the big message right from the source itself?
Oh man, what makes me tick? Oh, I don't think 20 minutes is going to be enough. But I will say what makes me tick in a good way, just waking up. Just waking up because somebody somewhere didn't. So I always say just waking up, that's half the battle. That's God giving you another opportunity to step into your purpose and his perfect purpose and will for your life. So that in and of itself, I would say breath in my body is what makes me tick and makes me go. Yes.
Wonderful. So just waking up, just showing up, just being there. I think about that a lot, this idea that it's really easy, it's way too easy to compare yourself to others, to talk bad about yourself, and you think that the only people that are giving up are the only people that kind of lose are the ones that are not pursuing their dreams, right? The ones that have dropped out, the ones that say, well, I can't do it, so why even try? So even if you're still struggling and things are not ideal to where you want them to be, then as long as you're still on the path and you're still making progress, then you're still doing great. And so what do you do? We listed things like an author, filmmaker, realtor, flight attendant. So out of all those, is there a hierarchy? Is there like I'm number one this, I'm number two that, or are they all equally distributed?
Well, I will go back to what you said really quick before I answer that. Waking up really is half the battle. So if you can do that, that will allow you to do all those things that you just named. Um, for me, as far as number one, two, three, four, um, number one, I would say, you have to be true to yourself before anything. I am a woman. I'm a woman of God, a God-fearing woman. I am a mom of two grown-up daughters. I was a teenage mom. So I have two grown-up daughters, 33 and 30, which is so hard to believe. I have five grandchildren. So before I am a flight attendant, a real estate agent, an author, a filmmaker, I am like I said, a woman of God. I am a mom. So I would say after that, everything else kind of comes into play. God has definitely given me the strength to do it all. So I would say that, um, you know, being a flight attendant is my bread and butter, but I do enjoy it. I've been in the aviation industry for well over 20 years. I started back when I was 22. So I enjoy flying. I enjoy serving people. You have to, have a passion for people. It sounds cliche, but you really do because things have changed so much from 20 years ago, flying and the customers changed, the companies have changed, things have merged, there's been a pandemic. So there's definitely been a lot of changes throughout that time. So I've definitely been able to weather the storm and roll with the punches in that regard. But I still love it. But more so, than that, outside of the people, it's very flexible. So I thank God for the flexibility to be able to have a career that allows me to bring money in while I am pursuing my passions as writing and filmmaking and, my newfound real estate career. So it's great. So you will hear me give God the glory for everything because, through him, I get my being, I get my, I get life. So without that, without the breath in my body and my faith, which has honestly brought me this far. Obviously, faith without works is dead, but it is my faith that's been that has allowed me to do all of these things. So that's my answer to that.
And that's a great answer and a wonderful message that your faith in your higher power, something bigger than yourself, pulls you up towards your dreams and your destiny. And you have this flight attendant career. That way, you have that time flexibility to, I imagine, some days at a time be off doing this, but then be right back. It's not like you clock into a 9 to 5 and have to squeeze in the other
Right.
passion projects. And so, what are these passion projects? Like, what are you writing? What have you written? What is the filmmaking all about?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So I wrote a book back in 2017 called Destiny, a love story gone wrong. It is a fiction thriller with an urban twist. So Destiny was something that it started off as a fun conversation. It started off as actually a conversation that wasn't a joke, but it was kind of like I was telling a story about something that happened years ago in my hometown, and I just started to build upon it. As a child, I was the only child for about 12 years before my mom had my brother. So a lot of only children have imaginary friends. So years ago, I think probably I was 6 or 7, I had an imaginary friend, and I would make up these stories. And so obviously back then I didn't know it was a gift, but fast forward to 2017 when, that passion, that imaginary friend came back to help me reignite my imagination and create Destiny. So Destiny went from just a fun conversation to a to therapy because I was engaged back in 2016. The engagement broke in 2017. So when I started writing the book, I was engaged, and I had the motivation, the encouragement from my ex fiance. To when it broke, the engagement broke, I was able to take that pain and kind of transmute it into Destiny, which is the main character of the book. So that book that was written in 2017 was published in 2019. I did my first book signing at Books and Books in Miami International Airport. So my career definitely helped play a part in that. And the book sold out in 2 days. And it was between Michelle Obama's book and Rick Ross, and my book sold out. So it was amazing. But then shortly after that, a pandemic hit and it shut the whole world down. So instead of me looking at it as if, woe is me, I'm like, wow, I must really have something special that the enemy had to shut the whole world down just to stop me, because we all know that a thief doesn't break into an empty house. So that let me know that I'm really onto something. So instead of allowing that to stop me, I just continued in that time when the world had shut down to think and use my creative powers and my creative juices to connect with my now producer. His name is James Hunter. He's at First Dibs Films. We ended up taking my book and transforming it into a script. It's crazy. I went on an independent boat ride back in 2017 for filmmakers where I met my producer's distributor, and he called him on the phone right away and said, I met this amazing young lady. You have to meet her. You have to talk to her. She's writing a book. She wants to turn it into a film. So we actually just completed the film. We filmed in Atlanta, Georgia. We wrapped on January 12th. We have the trailer for it. We are, going to wait to put it out there, but we have a premiere scheduled in Orlando, Florida for May 8th. I don't have the theater, but Destiny will have a red carpet premiere, so I will definitely share that with you later, and everybody is welcome. It's actually a double premiere for another movie that my investors took place in, so I'm very excited about that. Destiny has already secured a distribution deal with Indie Rights Movies, so this movie is phenomenal. Seeing the trailer, it exceeded my expectations, and one of my favorite scriptures is, God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ask or think. And my producer and the entire cast and crew exceeded my expectations. Like, my expectations were here, for a lower budget film, and they just took them here. So I am just you know, to the moon for that book becoming a film. And it happened in a short period of time. So it was just favor. You know, favor isn't fair, but God showed me favor, and I'm grateful. And I'm so excited that I can share this message to people that think that they could never do it. Because when I was writing the book, I know that what was in my heart, that this film would one day be a movie. I didn't have any funds to put towards it, didn't even put any funds toward it this time. Like, I had someone believe in me, and they saw the script, they read it, and they were like, we have to do this film. Like, this movie is going to touch so many people, you know, with the storyline. And so, you know, I just want to encourage anyone that's, you know, thinking along the same lines, like, it's possible. Don't be afraid to dream big, be afraid to dream small. So that would be my message to
I
people.
like I like that a lot. That the dreaming small, that's the real killer. And also, it's interesting to kind of play with this idea in our mind of the higher power, and you give the glory to God, because if you're selfish and you say, "Hey, I'm such a amazing, smart, fantastic person, and I deserve all this credit," then that really plays tricks on your own mind, right? Because then maybe you have the inflated ego, and then when another failure comes along, then that hurts a lot more than remaining humble. And there's this idea that your higher power gives you what you need, maybe not what you want.
Yeah.
And there's some kind of cooperation in place where, like, things are not just necessarily handed to you, you also have to work for them. And then you might have to be a little flexible, and then the gift that you get may not necessarily be the exact thing that you asked for or expected, but all that added up makes for an interesting journey of many twists and turns. And what I'm getting a lot from you is that you have these big goals, and you have this perseverance. And even as you said, as you're writing the book, you were saying, okay, I want this to be a movie someday. But also there's that aspect of the networking, right? The people skills, just like you and me here on a podcast. And we don't necessarily have to be here, but it's a good habit to have,
Yes.
just to speak to who you need to speak to, and then all that adds up, and that gives you the benefits later. And even to get this movie made, it's not like you were just sitting at home hoping that some filmmaker would knock on your door and walk in. You went out and you were doing some networking there. And so, what were the struggles and the failures like in order to get this movie made? Because sometimes you hear about the struggles of getting funding, or you have to get all these no's to get one yes, or compromise on your dreams. So, what had to happen to go from you wrote the book and met the filmmaker and got the funding? Like, what were the struggles in that process?
Oh, I love it. That's a great question, Robert. And as you were speaking, it's amazing. You will never, you will get tired of me giving God the glory. But when I tell you, and anyone that has that same belief system as me, the Holy Spirit is very real. So as you were speaking, one of my favorite scriptures was just stirring in my spirit. It says, "And we know that all things work together for good for those who love God and called according to his purpose." And so what that means is God doesn't waste anything. So, you know, you talk about the networking, and, you know, how you and I met, you know, over LinkedIn, and, you know, just the struggles and not having the money, but having the dream and not understanding how it's going to come into play. God doesn't waste anything. So everything that I you know, struggled with or was challenged by, you know, having the dream but not having the funds, you know, having champagne dreams but, you know, but a beer budget. I knew that what God had showed me, that if he showed it to me, he was going to provide a way. We're equipped for battle. God's not going to give us a dream and a purpose and not equip us for it. So all of those things that we have and that we want to do in life, we already have the resources. People go and they look far and they look high, and it's right in front of you. So the very person that I met on that independent boat ride, he made a phone call right in front of me. We're on a boat. He calls his producer, James, and he tells him about, you know, my film and my book, and, you know, what a wonderful storyline it is. Well, James had a pool of investors. And what's so crazy about it, those same investors that invested in Destiny Now and are so excited. They turned my script down the first time because they wanted to do another film, which was a horror film. So they saw how well James was doing with his movies, that they said, you know what, we believe in you. So whatever film you want to do, we'll do it. So when James actually put that post on Facebook, I saw it and I called him right away, like, let's do Destiny. And he said, you know, if you're okay with a smaller budget, we can do it. I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't care if it was a $500 budget. I know that this is a great story and it's going to change people's lives. And I want to be able to encourage everyone. And so we went from having a small budget to it going over budget, and them just fully supporting it, because once they read that script, they knew we had to make this movie. So I say all that to say, like, it didn't happen overnight, but there are people that have the same dream as me that wrote a book and would like to turn it into a film, and it took them 20 years to do it, or, you know, it never happened. So for me to had written that book in 2017 and for it to get published in 2019 and had been able to wrap a film up just, you know, a couple of months ago, that was very quick. And so, you know, I always say favor isn't fair, and God chooses whom he wants to bring, you know, his word. So I always say, you know, this is not about me. I give God the glory because I never had a desire to write a book. I never took one writing class. It was something that I never wanted to do. So people, when they read the book, they thought, oh, you wanted to be a writer and you took classes. I never did. God put that in my spirit and said, you're going to write this book. You're going to give me the glory and bring people to me. So this is not about me gloating or bragging. Like, it has humbled me, and it's humbled me to share the word and spread the good news, which is the gospel, you know, of Jesus Christ. And basically, you know, through him, we can do all things. Without him, I would not have had the idea to write the book, you know, or the resources to bring that book to a film. So, you know, without going on and on and on, which I can because I'm very passionate about it. It's just such a blessing to be able to share that and encourage people with that message, that it's all possible through Jesus that strengthens you, or that strengthens me.
Wonderful. And you mentioned about how maybe someone out there has an idea for a film, or maybe they have a book that just is incomplete or is not yet published. And it's always interesting to think about this idea that there's like the product that you make, whatever that is, right? Book, movie, whatever. And there's the creation of it, which that in itself is a while, but then there's the marketing of it, there's the promotion, which that is it's so much harder, right? And sometimes takes so much more work, so much more time, and it feels inverse, because sometimes you expect in your mind, like, oh, I'll spend 80% of my time making this really good film and then 20% of the time promoting it. But it's like you have to spend like unimaginable amounts of time and effort and money in order to get a little bit of the word out. And so what's your thought process on that? Like when you did the book signing, or when you were putting out the movie here, like there some people say, well, I have like a 6-month plan, or I'll put in 2 hours a day, or I'll talk to 25 people per day. So what is your thought process mindset as far as how do you even figure out the work that is to be done for promotion? And then what do you do in order to sell out books, or in order to make a movie successful? What goes into the marketing?
Great question. And I'm actually still working on that. It's actually a work in progress because, as you just said, marketing is everything. Marketing is everything. It can be very expensive, obviously, because, you know, I love quotes, and one of my favorite quotes is, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, you know, did a tree really fall? So you can have all these great ideas and, you know, all these wonderful projects that you put out there, but if no one's seen it or heard it, like, did it really even happen? So even till this day, even with the book currently being out, in the movie, I've actually am relaunching the book since the movie has been made, to really develop the characters. And so still to this day, I am constantly, my book didn't get the chance or didn't get the opportunity that I know it could have because of the pandemic. It came in at halted, brought everything to a screeching halt. So right now I am having the book re-edited so I can relaunch it before the actual premiere of Destiny on major platforms, digital streaming platforms. So it's something to where I am actually interviewing some publicists to help me to get the word out there, because it's a team, it's a team effort. I can write the book and have all the great ideas I want, but there's an expert for everything. There's, I can be the expert in writing, but then there's a producer and an executive producer that has the money. There's publicists that help you get the word out. So you have to be able to have that team and trust people to help you bring your dream to life. So I'm still every day, I'm thinking of a different idea to get the word out there, and finding someone that I can trust that won't take my money, because there's a lot of scams out there. So it's all about doing the research, which, I'm learning to do a lot of, because on social media, there's constantly an ad and clicking on an ad. So as soon as they see what it is that you like, there's, an ad for that, and you click on it and they want to take your money. So it's just about doing your research, but listening to your spirit. And again, it's when it's a God project, he will bring all of those people to you, just like he sent me all the actors and the producers and the distributors. He will continue to send me those people that will help me to get that word out, that will help me to get the book relaunched, and hopefully make it to the New York Times bestseller. Like, that's what I woke up with in my mind this morning. Like, Destiny didn't have a chance to get it back then because of the pandemic, but now, like, with the movie being out, I feel like it's unstoppable. So, marketing.
And yeah, now you are circling back and getting all of the pieces in place, the book plus the film at the same time. And so what is sort of the sales pitch for the film? What's the quick synopsis to get us excited to see it?
Oh my goodness. Wow. This book is so amazing. So again, although it's a Christian, it's a fiction thriller. It's a fiction thriller book, a Christian based book with an urban spin. So it's super relatable to every genre. If you're a mom, if you're a teenager, if you had a bad rap in life, um, or if you just like to read, this book is so relatable. So without giving too much of it away, Destiny was raised by a single mom that had some very unforeseen circumstances, like most mothers, most young mothers, myself and many others in the world. Obviously, you want to give your child, your son, your daughter, the life that you didn't have and the opportunities you didn't have. So Maureen, which was Destiny's mother, she wanted that for Destiny. And they didn't live in a great part of town, so she was aspiring to give her daughter the better life. So she was blessed with a new home outside of that, poverty stricken area. But Destiny, it's, there's saying you can take the child out of her hometown, but you can't take the hometown out of the child, right? So Destiny had a longing back there. She had something that she was very interested in, which was a boy. So when Destiny got of age, she kind of found her way back to that, that hometown that a lot of pain was originated from, and she entered into a toxic relationship with Romeo. So it takes a lot of twists and turns, but then Destiny has a moment throughout this toxic relationship to remember the mother, the young lady that her mother raised her to be, and she finds her way back. And just when you think it's a happily ever after, the story takes a turn that you never saw coming. So it is a roller coaster ride. I mean, from start to finish, you will never be able to figure out how this book ends or this movie ends. So I'm so excited for people to see it. So if you love suspense, if you love thrillers, if you just love to read and just to like to be taken on an emotional roller coaster, this book, this film will definitely do that for you and more. Yeah.
And who doesn't love a good roller coaster and an exciting adventure? And so,
That's
and how do we how do we find it? Like you said that there was like you're figuring out like the theater, but then again, a lot of the distribution these days is streaming. So will we just be able to go to like any specific platform and search it? Like, how do we find the movie when it's out?
Okay, so you can find the book right now. The book is out on Amazon. You can order Destiny, A Love Story Gone Wrong by Danielle Forbes. That is available on Amazon. I will be relaunching the book, and that will be on, so it'll be called Destiny Relaunched. I'm actually already in the works for part two of the book and of the film. But the film, like I said, we just got a distribution deal, so we are not sure as of yet where exactly it will be shown. However, it will release probably mid-May. So if you put in Destiny, I believe this film is going to be so big, you will be able to, it won't be hard to find. So hopefully you and I will be able to circle back and I can give you an update on everything, and then people will be able to find the film and buy the book and the Destiny relaunched and follow me on this Destiny journey. I'm looking to even making it a series because there's these characters have all different lives. So I'm maybe looking to do a series and spin off of the characters, Destiny, Romeo, Maureen, and talk about their lives. So yeah, so the book is on Amazon, and in May you will be able to plug it into Google and you'll be able to watch the film.
All right, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And what I get a lot out of from what you do is we can't just do one thing, right? We can't just be a one-hit wonder or a one-note character. We have to have the career and the project, like kind of the passion project. And also, as far as even you being an author, you're not just saying, "Oh, I'll put out the one book and everything will write on that." You put out the book, you relaunched it, you made the film, you're doing the sequels and the spin-off books. It's great to have that forward momentum and say, I'm not just going to be doing this and then calling it quits. Even, I mean, how many like 50 Shades of Grey books are there? How many Harry Potter books are there? And the prequels and sequels and spin-off and Hunger Games books and Maze Runner, like no one stops at just one, because if it's good, why wouldn't you continuously innovate and create more what people want? Because you spend all this time building this audience, create more things for your audience to digest. So that's very nice to think about. Destiny, A Love Story Gone Wrong on Amazon. And is there a website or a central hub where we can keep track of all these amazing adventures and opportunities that you're pursuing?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if you want to follow my Instagram, author Danielle Forbes, you can see everything Destiny and get a little bit of my personality on there as well. My website is under construction right now, but it will be back up as soon as we have some solid information in play as far as where the premiere will be in Orlando. It will be there on May 8th, which is a Wednesday. So, and then as far as where the movie will be launched, so that is Danielle Forbes Productions.com. That is my website. And you can also follow the Danielle Forbes Show on Facebook or my private page, which is Danielle Forbes. And so I will be updating that in the very near future with all of these important dates, and all is welcome. Absolutely.
Very exciting, and I can say that I knew you when, right? I knew you before you really blew up and created all these amazing things. And so whether you're an Instagram person, Facebook person, website person, then check out Danielle Forbes, get the book, look into the film starting May 8th when it goes live. And we'll be excited to find out where you go from here, Danielle. And as we wrap up our conversation, you're an author and you're well spoken and well read. Is there an appropriate quote or lesson that you feel like sharing at the very end here to really help us out, energize us, send us on our way?
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. My favorite quote, and this is a Danielle Forbes original: I faced many forms of adversity, but none of which has allowed to stop me from being all that God has created me to be. So I say that for to myself and to everyone watching. I don't care what you go through. It's all working together for your good. God does not waste anything, no matter how big, how small, how good, how bad. It is all a part of your destiny, your purpose. Don't allow it to stop you from being all that God has created you to be. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. Even if you're not a believer, if you are a believer, if you're on the fence, whatever it is, if you wake up every day, your creator has placed a greater purpose in you. So whether you're doing it, you're thinking about it, go forth. That's the word I feel in my spirit. Go forth. Don't be afraid. Be afraid to dream small, not big.
All right.